Good evening and welcome to Estuary TV News. I'm Hugh Riches. Tonight we have a look at Hull's connection with the legendary Jack the Ripper, and joining me in the studio is Herbert Stiles to talk about the forthcoming Workers' Memorial Day. But first, it's over to James Dunn for the news headlines.
Hello. In the headlines today, a sculpture bigger than a jet made in Hull will welcome tourists and returning Brits as of yesterday to Britain. And oh dear, you never believe what some people are carrying on the M180. A 70-metre sculpture made in Hull was unveiled at Heathrow Airport yesterday, where it's likely to become one of the most widely viewed artworks in the world. More than 20 million passengers come through Heathrow each year, and it will be hard for them to miss the slipstream sculpture, which weighs in at 77 tonnes and is larger than an A400 jet plane. It was designed by Turner Prize-nominated artist Richard Wilson, but made in Hull by specialist engineering company Commercial Systems International. And with Made in Hull being one of the key themes of Hull's City of Culture bid, Councillor Stephen Bayes, portfolio holder for City of Culture, says it places the Hull name and expertise directly in the gaze of the world. A section of Hull's Marfleet Lane will be closed for up to 2 weeks from Monday for essential repairs. There will be a full road closure between Holderness Road and Barham Road, and signage is already in place to give motorists and pedestrians advanced warning. Hull City Council say they won't know exactly how long the road will be closed until they remove the surface and assess the extent of repairs needed. 84 churches in Lincolnshire will open their doors to the public for 2 weekends in May as part of the Open Churches Festival. It takes place on 10th and the 11th and the 17th and the 18th of May, and organisers say you don't have to be Christian to enjoy the stunning architecture and heritage within these buildings. And organisers are encouraging people to go inside as they unlock the buildings, many of which are closed to the public for most of the year.
You should take the advantage. We've got, like I said before, lovely churches, lovely areas. Some churches are doing teas, some churches are doing biscuits, sandwiches. One church is doing a breakfast, lunches. You know, just come along, just come and have a look. And visitors, you'll all be welcome.
Police are looking for witnesses to a collision at the Dunswell roundabout on Beverley High Road in Hull on the 11th of April. A silver Subaru Impreza hit the back of a learner driver in a Vauxhall Corsa who stalled while trying to turn right into Rach Carter Way. Anyone with information can call 101 and quote log number 150 of April the 11th. Fans flocked to the Casey Stadium yesterday as tickets for the Wembley FA Cup final against Arsenal went on sale for the first time. They'll be sold in 4 phases between now and May the 6th. The 25,000 allocated is actually less than the 26,500 fans they took to the semi-final against Sheffield, so there are fears some will leave empty-handed. But it will place rugby fans in a quandary as the final falls on the same day at the same time as the famous Magic Weekend, when Hull KR play Hull FC in the Super League. Police are warning people not to leave anything on show in their cars because of a number of thefts in the East Riding, in which thieves have broken into cars for as little as loose change or cigarettes. Car parks in North Ferriby, South Cave, Brough and Pocklington have all been targeted in the recent spate of break-ins at places including hotels, pubs, leisure facilities and even busy town centres. Police say don't leave anything on show because thieves don't care what damage they cause. Recently, a thief broke into a car to get a black bin liner. The bag contained only rubbish, but the owner was left with a £300 repair bill. Police attended a major incident in Grimsby in which a man was taken to hospital with head injuries on Tuesday. Stanley Street was closed shortly after 3:15 p.m. after police were called, but the circumstances surrounding the injuries are still not known. Police say the man's injuries are not life-threatening. And finally, it's staggering what you might see on the roads. Humberside Police followed this life-size statue of a stag strapped to the back of a flatbed truck going eastbound on the A180 before stopping the driver and asking them to lay it down. Police posted the picture on Twitter and there was no shortage of puns from shocked social media users. On his way to a stag do, perhaps, said some, and simply, oh dear, wrote another. And that's just a few of the jokes that were cracked. Well, that's all we've got time for, I'm afraid, today, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Jack the Ripper has for many years held a morbid fascination for morbid people. He was never caught and his identity has never been discovered. A series of books written by Hull author and ripperologist Mike Covell could be about to be made into a Hollywood movie. I went over to Hull to see what the connection was with Jack the Ripper. In the spring of 1888, at least 5 women were brutally murdered on the streets of London. Jack the Ripper was never caught, never identified, but a Hull historian's research suggests that the killer was from Hull.
Through my research, I've discovered that there's at least 14 suspects in the Jack the Ripper case with links to Hull, as well as a number of Ripper scares that occurred in the city, and also Ripper letters that were sent here, that were sent from here, and that were sent in London, but mentioned that Jack the Ripper was on his way here as well.
It is the coldest of cold cases, but that's no reason to relax the hunt for evidence.
Basically, I've gone right back and looked through these people's lives and got things like births, marriages and death certificates, trade directory entries, census returns and things like that, all painting a picture of when they were here and what kind of things they were doing while they were here.
The legal system itself has occasionally obscured the trail. Some defence lawyers can be rather keen.
I mean, there's a number of eyewitnesses for one suspect came forward and said that he was in London at that time, and he himself also is alleged to have confessed, but his solicitor at the time destroyed his papers and said there was no such confession, so unfortunately we don't know.
This detective work has fascinated writers and filmmakers since the first bodies hit the cobbles of Whitechapel. There might be a future in the past.
Well, essentially what I'm working on at the moment is a number of movies with Hollywood. These will be produced between now and 2017. 3 of those are part of a trilogy that's part of a book series that have been turned into movies. One of those is one of my own books that's going to be turned into movie. And all of them have kind of this Victorian whodunit aspect to them.
The mystery will never be solved and will always fascinate.
As well as the period, I know ladies that are interested because of the kind of dresses, you know, and kind of fashions that were around. A lot of the gentlemen that are involved in sort of the aspects of, you know, what the area looked like at that time. Some of them are involved in sort of what the policemen looked like and what uniforms they wore and things like that. And then of course it's the whole aspect of, you know, it's totally unknown who it was. So there's that side as well.
In the UK, between 2012 and 2013, an estimated 646,000 workers had an accident at work, according to Health and Safety Executive Statistics, while 148 workers were fatally injured. Since 2003 in North East Lincolnshire, International Workers' Memorial Day services have taken place in memory of those who have lost their lives in the workplace. And joining me is Herbert Stiles to explain more. Herbert, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Welcome.
What exactly is going to be happening in this next International Workers' Memorial Day?
Well, in each town of Immingham, Grimsby and Cleethorpes, we hold a service. We have the families who's lost loved ones. We're there to help and support them. We lay wreaths, we have a minute's silence, and we try to encourage it as a community project to fetch everyone together to show how important health and safety is at work and try to prevent deaths. It's been going on for some time now. How did it get started? I got started mainly because I see an article in the Hazard magazine which mentioned about Workers' Memorial Day, and I thought I'd like to have a go at that. So I tried to get it with a group of friends, all got together and started to see if we could drum up some support, and we was able to drum up the support for a memorial and a tree in not just one but 3 towns, Immingham, Grimsby and Cleethorpes, and that's how it started. And its purpose, of course, is to commemorate those who've been hurt or who've lost their lives, but does it also have an educational role at all, a publicity role, awareness? There is a publicity because prevention is better than cure, and the idea behind it is to prevent accidents from happening in the first place, which is the main reason and theme behind it, because then there was normally say is you remember the dead but you fight for the living. That was a horrifying statistic, 400, many hundreds of thousands of accidents and many hundreds of deaths just in this country caused at work. And yet we have a very severe and very fierce health and safety legal regime in this country. Why is the workplace so dangerous? The workplace is so dangerous because of shortcuts, in simple, and because some people don't even bother taking the risk assessments, where if you was working from height, you had a harness on, if you did slip, the harness would hold you, and simple things like that. And it's training, it's the information, instruction, all behind it, which can help prevent accidents. And obviously, you want the proper equipment to do a lot of the jobs.
And well, where does the fault lie in that case? Is it in the fault of the employers who aren't insisting on those rules being followed, or is it the fault of the employees who are ignoring those rules?
A lot of these can actually come down and say, yes, there is certain employers at fault, but one way what we try to approach it is by working together, so that if you take the fault to one side and you work together to prevent the accidents, I believe it is the best route to follow.
That's just in our country, in Britain. Do you know what the figures are for this area, though, the Humberside region?
I'm not quite sure without looking at the figures for this region, because we do it sort of nationally on the statistics. But the main reason behind it is worldwide as well, and this is where the alarming statistics come in.
Well, you have some of these alarming statistics here, internationally, that tens of thousands of people are being killed in the workplace.
Absolutely, and if you only go back, I think it's the anniversary today of the factory what collapsed in Bangladesh, where they had a lot of the clothing which was made by Primark, which a lot of the countries, because our British manufacturing has gone down. So if you look at the manufacturing capacity this country had, our statistics are still quite high because the capacity has gone down for manufacturing.
And we, of course, we used to buying goods made in all sorts of places around the world, China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia. Is there anything we can do to ensure that what we buy has been made by people who have not been put in danger by their employment?
Yes, as I say, is make sure you buy the ones who are following the rules, because you do hear of the rumours of sweatshops and the collapsing of the buildings and the horrid conditions what they work in, the hot, the sweat, you know, the inadequate guarding of machinery and everything. So if we can play our part, we can help everyone in the world to save lives, and that's what it's about, regardless where you're from.
In this country, there's a certain, people mock health and safety every now and then. People find it a little bit risible that they're being told to do things that they might find a little petty or a little instructive. Is there that culture of not being want to be bossed about by health and safety? Is that dangerous?
It certainly is, because we used to have this where you say the myth of the week or the blame the health and safety that prevents some of the shows or some of the marches because of health and safety. It's not to do with health and safety. Sometimes it's the people that just cannot be bothered to actually do the job properly. And if you was to take health and safety serious, and I find it serious, is when you stood along the parents or the mothers and the fathers who's just lost a loved one at work. That's the serious side.
Just tell us again, where are these services going to be held?
These services will be held at 10 o'clock at Immingham, it will be 1 o'clock at Grimsby and 3 o'clock at Cleethorpes.
And this is on the 28th of April?
28th of April.
And is it everybody welcome? Can anybody turn up?
Everybody's welcome, and as I say, we try and encourage all the unions, the workers, people in the community to turn up. There'll be a few speakers, there'll be the Lane of Reeves, there'll be a minute's silence.
Who'll be speaking?
We'll have the MEP speaking, we'll have the Mayor speaking, we'll have the HSE speaking, there'll be the odd union officer speaking, and from that then we go on to the Lane of Reeves.
And this is a tradition that's been going on for some years now. You hope it'll be going on for many years to come?
Many years to come, and while it's saving lives and we're supporting the families who's lost loved ones, and I think this is the most important part, the families who are involved there want the same thing. They don't want any more people to die at work and suffer like they did.
Thank you very much, Herbert. That's all we have time for this time. If you have a story for us, then please email news@estuary.tv or contact us via Twitter or Facebook, or pick up the telephone and call us on 01472 315561. Until tomorrow, goodbye.